All right, you know what it is. Unique Mecca Audio, man. All right. Just so you know, I answer my DMs. So, like I said, if anybody got any issue, comments, or whatever, complaints, whatever, leave your comments positive in the chats below. If you got a issue, DM me at Unique Mecca Audio, Macari Way. DM me and requested this video about the Asians, you know? So I was thinking back. We had an Asian brother, you know, named Jimmy. I'm even gonna give you his name because he was official. All right. We had a little Asian dude named Jimmy, small like Bruce Lee. You know, even favored Bruce Lee. You know, in good shape. He wasn't in good shape like that, but he was, you know, he was in good shape. But now we got old Jimmy. We out in Lompoc. We're in Lompoc, California. In Lompoc, when I got to Lompoc, man, it was a mess. I'm gonna give you a video about my first day in Lompoc and all that. Maybe give you the first couple of days in three different videos. But I get out there to Lompoc, and Lompoc had more dope on the compound than you could ever imagine. You know, now it was crazy on the compound. Everybody's hustling in some form or fashion. They hustling. There's so much drugs that people ask each other for stamps to take care of things, or commissary, whatever they ask them for. They'll just give them a couple of papers, a black tar. That was the drug of choice out there. They was bringing it in a mile a minute. Now the Serenos had that, but they had to give it to the border brothers in order for the border brothers to be able to deal with the blacks, because the Serenos wasn't allowed to sell drugs to the blacks, or do any business with the blacks. That's how serious it is out there. So if you youngins want to get involved in it, feel free. Come on, But I'm telling you it wasn't worth it. So don't tell me that I didn't tell you it wasn't worth it. Don't tell me I'm glamorizing the story. The story is glamorized because that's what it is, period. Now, let's get on with the story. Everybody over there hustling. Now, we got a little Asian dude named Jimmy up in the joint, right? Jimmy work over in the Unicorn with me, but Jimmy lived down at the other side, like in L Block, I lived over there in Functified. That's what they called it. Big shout out to Casper. Watch their documentary coming up, him and C-Dog. Now, I'm way down there in Functified. I'm doing my thing. Little Jimmy down there doing his thing in L Block by himself. Nah, that was K Block. He was in K Block by himself doing his thing. You know what I mean? He hustling. The only Asian on the compound, all the way from New York City, he all the way out of the Lompoc, and he's slinging dope. He's slinging dope a mile a minute. This how he moving. Just so you understand. Now, we work in a unicorn factory, so we go out there in a unicorn. Everybody works in a unicorn. 98% of them get high, either off of dope or off of weed. I say about 70% of them get high off of dope, maybe 80. The rest is on weed or white lightning or whatever. Now, we sitting here chilling, and we in the unicorn, and they got all these different stations set up, and we making cables. We making big cables like this for submarines, that might have 1,000 connectors in it. So you got the male and the female. So, we do one at a time. We do the male side, then we do the female side, and then you put them together. You test them and all that to make sure when they show them out there on the helicopters and all that, and the submarines, that the cables is working. Now, they paid decent money out there because they gave long hours, so they made everybody a grade one. A grade one is $1 an hour. $1 an hour is money when you start doing jail time, and you're going to be back there for 8-10 hours a day. So 10 hours a day times $30, 30 days, you're talking about $300. That's good when a dude ain't got a dime coming in, And 3 grams of tar costs $2.50. So you could work all month, get yourself 3 grams of tar. Off of each gram that you paying, it's $3.50, $2.50 for the 3 grams. Each gram you're gonna make about $800 to $1,000, maybe even $1,200. So you're gonna make like $3,000 off your first month's check once you get to hustling. So that's why I was so tempted for everybody to hustle if you could figure that out. Now, old Jimmy out there hustling. So you got all these different little areas that make different things, and all of them get high. All them sit in their little corner. They bring their works out. You know what I mean? And some shoot up right in, in the open area. They'll just put up a little barricade, like a couple of boxes, or put some cables up to block them. And, they got their homie looking out. Some ain't got nobody looking out. And they sit there and they cook up their works and they shoot the works up right there in the unicorn. Now they got cameras in the unicorn, so I know they see them doing it, but they don't care about them doing it as long as they're gonna make them damn cables. Because on the street, them type of jobs probably get like $60, $70 an hour, maybe even more than that. Somebody look it up and let me know. But they only giving us $1 an hour, so they getting crazy labor, and all the dudes want to do is work in order to get money to shoot up dope. And let their time go by, 'cause a lot of people can't do the time without the dope. They say the time is easier with the dope up in you, so they say. Now, that's one thing I ain't never mess with. Now, so everybody out there doing their thing. You got little Jimmy out there, he's slinging a mile a minute. He real quiet. He don't talk to nobody. He the only Asian out there. He don't even really, he talks to to people, but it's about, the unicorn business, whatever you ask him, and he's courteous and he moves on past the topic. But as far as hanging out, going to the cell, come sitting in your area, nah, he don't do all of that. Even with the New York dudes, he was a loner, but he out there getting his money. And, he knew that's how he had to be, to get it. Because don't forget, you got Bloods, Crips, GDs, Black Gorilla Family. You got everything out there in California. Now, he doing his thing, and everybody looking at him, moving around, but nobody pay him no mind because they all doing their thing. Now, Jimmy goes back in the block, and he cooks his food, he works out, then he eats his food, then he takes a shower, and he relax and, do whatever he doing. That's how he doing his time. But like I said, he's not talking to nobody. Pay attention. Jimmy not talking to nobody. But he getting money, Now, it was a drought, and Jimmy was the only one with drugs. So now people start targeting Jimmy and seeing that, oh, he hustling. Because they ain't really paid no mind because he wasn't that type of dude. Dudes pull up on him on the low, he break them off, da-da-da-da. But, he was always situated with his locker and things like that. So they knew he was taken care of, then he was Asian, so they figured that his family taking care of him. But Jimmy was eating off the land and was eating doggone good. Now, Jimmy out there doing his thing, they watching Jimmy. So now, out of nowhere, they decide to bring Jimmy a move. They decide to bring Jimmy a move. Because mind you, Jimmy ain't running with the New Yorkers, so of course they're going to talk to New Yorkers, find out what's up with the, they call them Chinese, they don't call them Asian. They be, yo, what's up with the Chinese dude? You know what I mean? Because anything that look Asian is Chinese when you go out there in the West Coast, in the prison. That's the way the blacks looked at them or considered them. That's what they called them. Now, you got old Jimmy out there, and they targeting Jimmy and about to make a move on him, right? So Jimmy finds out they getting ready to make a move because some white dudes, because he got along with the white dudes really good. He went and told, the white dudes told him, yo, they getting ready to make a move on you, boom, 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 boom. So now what it was the Bloods had their eyes on him. The Bloods looking at him like, oh, he getting money, he out here. The New York dudes say they don't mess with him. He don't run with the white dudes. He don't run with the Spanish dudes. He don't run with nobody. He'll be easy picking where there won't be any retaliation. So now they decide to move on old Jimmy. Yeah, this old Asian story, so pay attention and keep up. Hit the like button, man. Hit the like button. Now, and make sure you share and subscribe. Now, they watching Jimmy. So Jimmy gets up every morning, right? So this morning, Jimmy get up, and he's standing up on the top of the tier. And then he, cause the TV's down below the tier. It's set up just like this below me. See what the dude at the top over there is looking at right above me. He looking at the TV or something, cause that's where the TV's at. Some, they didn't have him in the cell like they do in this video. But then now, Jimmy's sitting there looking at the news early morning, and then he turned around and go back in his cell. And when he go in his cell, there goes two big Crips. One slim dude and, about 6'2", 6'3", and then another one about 5'10", and about maybe 220, 230, good shape, They roll up and corner Jimmy in the cell, and they tell Jimmy, you know what it is, get that pack up, man. You know? And Jimmy like, man, I ain't got nothing for you. I don't know what you're talking about. You need to get out my cell. You know? They said, man, nah, you need to get that up. So now they sitting there thinking that Jimmy gonna be an easy picking. Jimmy done pulled his knife out because he already strapped. Jimmy pulled his knife out, rushed them. They backed out the cell. And when they backed out the cell, Jimmy got the knife on him. So Jimmy cocks back to hit him with the knife. So when he swings the knife, he catches him in the shoulder. Boom. So he backs up. So now he rumbling with the other one, but that one is already hit. But now the other Bloods see, and the Bloods is like Voltrons. They stick together out there. So they all come running upstairs real quick, and they run up on Jimmy, and Jimmy up there on the top tier. That little tier you see behind me, that's where Jimmy at wrecking. So picture wrecking with all 5 of them dudes you see behind me on that top tier. Now, that's how Jimmy wrecking, and he hooking, and they stabbing, and they hitting him in the body, and they hitting him here, and they hitting him there, but Jimmy's still rolling. Little dude, Jimmy ain't no more than about 5'6", you know what I mean? But Jimmy putting it in, working with these 5 Bloods, right? Now, he up there, and one of them winds up hitting him in the face, boom. So when that hit him in the face, it rocks him. So he gets a little lazy, and he falls over. When he fall over, he does a little kick like a round the house split scissor kick and whong, you know what I mean? And hit dude in his face, boom, and jumped up on his feet, grabbed the rail, held on to the rail. Now he got his back against the rail, and he working that one knife. He working a knife trying to keep him up off him. And I know what's on Jimmy's mind is, where's the CO when you need him? You know what I mean? Police sitting there on the phone or sleep or whatever he doing, and Jimmy up there wrecking with 5 god doggone Bloods all the way in California from New York. So, and you know, Lompoc is like, you know, official there, just so you understand. So I'm telling you, youngins, don't go to prison. Don't get involved in this, because this is how real it is. They got 5 dudes fighting the dude on the tier, and you got maybe about 70, 80 other dudes that's up moving around on the phone and all that. Some watching TV, some standing in front of the cell talking to their homie. And, you know, everybody's sitting there continuing doing what they doing, acting like they don't even see this fight going on, but they cut their eyes to look at it some, and some just ignore it and just keep it moving, you know? But that's how it is in there. Nobody's gonna yell, woo, or yell for the police, or yell nothing to try and save you. This is 5-on-1, and can't nobody call the police or bring attention to the police, because now that's dry stitching, or that's called telegraphing if you go looking up at the top of the tier while it's going on. Because the police come out and see 10 dudes looking up, he gonna look up. That's called telegraphing. So y'all learning some words now. It put it across the screen, but it'll slow down the delivery of this video. But, you know, dudes don't do no telegraphing in there. So dudes mind their business. Jimmy up there going at it. Bang, bang, bang. They swinging. So now when dude hit him, he jumped up, grabbed the rail, and he got his back against the wall, and he's sitting there doing what he got to do. Out of nowhere, you know what I mean? Another dude run up and grabs him by the neck. So when he grabs him by the neck from behind, you know, the hand that he's holding on to the rail, he couldn't use that, and he busy swinging this way. So dude came up, snatched him by the neck, and grabbed him in a dope hole. Jimmy took the knife, swung it behind him, hit the dude in the upper body over here. You know what I mean? Now, when he hits him, he lets him go, but he falls on him. And when he falls on him, the weight of him on Jimmy had Jimmy a little off balance. So now Jimmy stopped swinging for a minute, and that's all they needed. They ran in, they grabbed Jimmy by the waist, and they trying to throw Jimmy over this tier. You see that tier there? We like 3 stories up, and they trying to throw old Jimmy off the tier all the way from New York. Chinese boy out there by his goddamn own self. Now, they try to throw Jimmy off the tier, and Jimmy holding on. He locks one leg around the tier, locks an arm around the tier, and he's trying to still, you know, swing the knife while holding the tier. And Jimmy got his both legs, both arms, everything moving at one time. He fighting. But that's how it is. You know what I mean? We in the penitentiary. He fighting for his life. So, you know, I don't know if any New Yorker was in there. I don't think there was even a New Yorker up or in there at the time. You know what I mean? But Jimmy didn't mess with none of the New Yorkers. And to be honest, none of them really didn't check for him because, you know, they looked at him like he thought he was better than us because he didn't, you know, he didn't claim, you know, New York. He did it all wrong. You know what I mean? But if he would have opened up to us, then they would have expected him to feed them. So this way, he didn't have to feed them nothing, because they wasn't there. But that's the same reason why they not there now when you in time of need. Because when you in prison, even when you on the street, you gotta have your team with you. Because you never know when something gonna jump off. You just have the team on standby. The same way the local town, got the police on standby. Even if nothing happened for the whole month, they still get paid. You understand what I'm saying? The same thing in prison. But when something do jump off and somebody done kidnapped somebody, got somebody hostage, whatever they doing, the police is gonna run out and put their life on the line. That's the same thing as your team. Your team is gonna put the life on the line. Now, don't think because everything is going good, you ain't got to feed the team, because you can't say everything is going good. I'm not going to feed the police, getting their paycheck. Because then when you need them, or the firemen, they're not going to be there. Remember, firemen sit around and don't do nothing 90% of the time until a fire break out. Then he got a hell of a job on his hands, a life-threatening job. But until then, they still got to pay the firemen. That's why you pay taxes, so that you can afford to pay the firemen. So that's why you got to pay taxes, so that, you could afford, to have a team with you. But Jimmy didn't have a team with him. So he up there fighting by himself on the tier. So y'all just learned the history of, being a boss, that you got to have a team around you. So you got a lot of dudes that feel like it ain't nothing going on, so I don't need nobody right now. You know what I mean? Oh, man, I got this. And then as soon as the first time a drama come and, somebody bring it to you, now you wish you had a team. So you can't look at nobody to help you, because when you was eating, you wasn't feeding nobody. So now that you're getting problems, you can't expect nobody to be there to help you. All right, y'all follow me now? All right. So that's where it's at. So they trying to throw poor Jimmy up off that top tier. Jimmy fighting like an animal. You know what I mean? And he was doing damn good. But now, nobody's looking up there. Everybody mind their business. Then they call chow. So now when they call chow and the people start walking out the unit, the police come out the office to open the door to let him out, and then he turn around and he yell out and look up and yell, chow time. You know what I mean? So when he do that, everybody come up out their cell and leave, or he sit in the cell and he yell chow time, and everybody hear it, and all the dudes yell chow time, and the police satisfied with that. Then the police come out, and open the door. And now when he comes out, he looks up and he see poor Jimmy wrapped up on the chair like a pretzel, So they run and he hits the deuces. And when he hit the deuces, they coming in now. They coming in. So when they coming in, they run up in there and they run up the stairs and they see Jimmy up there, and the Bloods are still fighting because Jimmy's still swinging that one arm with the knife. So some backed off and then some stood there, because like I said, the Bloods is official, so they wasn't running from no little knife play. And they still trying to throw him over the tier, because they like, nah, there's no way in hell we ain't get this $140, 5'6" Chinese boy over this tier after all this iron we lifting in the yard. I'm talking about that pig iron too. Y'all know what pig iron is? All right, that's what they got out there in Lompoc at the time, that pig iron. So now, police run up there and, the Bloods, wrestling with Jimmy still, and, now they come grabbing them and they pulling them and they trying to get him off. So when they get him, Jimmy, he in his zone, so Jimmy's still swinging. So they go grab Jimmy. When they grab Jimmy, his prison shirt whip open, boom, man. Jimmy got a bunch of magazines taped on his chest. You know what I mean? Wrapped around, with ace bandage. He done made a bulletproof vest, or should I say a knife-proof vest in the prison. And that's why when they was stabbing Jimmy all in the body, Jimmy was still going like a little Energizer bunny. Because Jimmy was ready for war, because don't forget, the white dudes told him the night before that they was going to make a move on him. So being they told him they going to make a move on him, he done made his knife-proof vest, you know what I mean, threw it, with the ace bandage, threw his prison shirt up over it, and he up there watching TV in the morning with his knife waiting on work. Jimmy could have been a coward and checked in. Jimmy said, I'm not checking in, you know what I mean, because if you go to the next compound, they found out that they checked you in, you know what I mean? Or that, you went and checked in because you was selling dope on the compound and the Bloods went to move on you in Lompoc. You'll never be able to sell another crunion of dope in prison or even live comfortable again in prison, because dudes is always going to come in your cell and take your stuff. So, young, if you want to go to prison, keep doing what you're doing, you know? But like I said, again, I'm telling you, it ain't worth it. But Jimmy sitting there and got his knife-proof vest on, you know, or his shank-proof vest on. So they grab Jimmy and everybody look and see Lord Jimmy. Now, they lock him up. And when they lock him up, all the whole compound was talking about that morning, man. That little Chinese nigga go hard. They said that Chinese boy go hard, man, you know? But Jimmy was go hard. So now he done get down there, and Jimmy and the R&D, you know, holding tank, you know, they checking him for stab wounds and things like that. So now they grab him, they put him in the shoe. So now Jimmy back there in the shoe. Man, yo, you want to know how Jimmy survived in the shoe? Jimmy in the shoe after he done stabbed up 5 blood dudes in California, you know? And he's in the shoe in Lompoc, California. But you know what? We've been on here, 21 minutes already, so I'm going to let it go. If y'all want to hear how Jimmy survived in the shoe, that's the special housing unit. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you comment. Don't forget that there's a Cash App on this goddamn joint, you know? Excuse the language, on this doggone joint, all right? But now, let me know if you want part 2 of how Jimmy survived in the shoe, man. If you want how Jimmy survived in the special house using when they locked him up down there in solitary confinement, hit the like button, man. Cop the book of Raw in Harlem. Cop the book of Raw in Harlem. Don't forget to cop the book of Raw in Harlem, all right?